Hi, Warriors. Last week of the year. Don't try and make your year this week. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Simon. Happy New Year to you. Blake, how are you today? I saw
Good
so much.
morning, Coach.
Yeah, I saw so much football. I'm almost getting saturated. Let's see. K-Man's K-Man's here
Hey,
today. Hey, buddy,
morning,
how are you?
everybody.
Huh? You doing okay? I saw some nice pictures. Looks like you had a great holiday.
I had an absolutely fantastic holiday with the family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I saw the picture of your grandson.
Yes, sir.
All right, Gramps. So we're gonna change your handle.
Oh, really?
No, from K-Man to Gramps. You like it?
Uh, yeah.
You
We'll
know
see.
that's not that. No, you don't like it. You don't. It's okay to be a
Another little
grand.
one ready to get spoiled.
All right. Hey, Payman, how are you? Are you back from the Middle East? Andrew, how are you? James, everybody. So we have a little dollar weakness. I don't think that's indicative of what we were looking for end of month flows, but dollar a little weaker today. I'll start with you, K man.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
does it
I do
mean
think.
anything?
Well, I do think that's at least some European time zone euro demand for month and year end. I've been running back through the past like 10, 15 days, and it does seem that regularly in the European mornings the euro is in demand, and then afterwards perhaps something else starts. But and especially on the euro crosses. I've seen a good few euro crosses when the European market walks in, being at a bit of a low one, and then the European morning we see demand. So I guess it's a lot to do with year-end flows right now.
Okay, because it looks like a magnet up here.
Yeah,
We tried
very
450 and
possible.
pulled it. Yeah,
Mm,
especially if we closed, right? This was the level
yeah,
104.50. So that would take it to just a measured move would take it to 5.5. But,
I it is possible. I've seen well from afar a couple of reports and some calling for the month and rather dollar demand, but if you look at the year to year yearly flows, if some people need to close their books for the year, I still think the US market has outperformed. But on the bond market, it may be a bit different. So I'm still somewhere. I'm in the camp where I don't know. Let the market do its thing until tomorrow, and then we'll see.
okay, yields and yen. This is drive two. Like I thought we'd have a drive two. So,
Mhm.
we made a marginal new high. So to get a three drive, you should get some type of sell off and then one more shot up because you see this RSI. It diverged, but it's not ideal. The next high, if we back off and then make another run,
Mm.
you want to see it under 70.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Um,
that's classical. It
yeah.
doesn't have to be.
It's an
I,
interesting little level, that 158. I'm just wondering what's going to happen in the run up to Trump's second round.
yeah.
Because I've seen some of the comments. It does seem that the Japanese government and UEDA are not too much in a hurry to hike more and rapidly, and that may still play against the yen. So I'm thinking that we may have a little push at the start of the year, and then we will see what happens for between now and tomorrow afternoon. I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, we're getting some really, look how long we've been diverging in TLT here.
Mm,
Uh, you know, so I mean, I'm not saying this is a major bottom in bonds, but maybe finally everyone who was buying it here and buying it here and buying it here because of the way the market is positioned. I mean, it's well publicized, the huge short position in treasuries. So they probably gave up after we took out this low at 89. So I don't think there are a lot of longs left in the market. I wouldn't be short TLT. So that's not my way of saying, well, I have to be long, but for sure I wouldn't be short. Maybe after a rally, I'd be short, but not down here. And same with the 10-year. So while the 10 years rallied from 415 to what, almost what was this, 70 almost? 63.
Yeah.
So call it 50. Why can't we pull back 25, which would, take it back to 440 or so? I think the next, kind of flow thing that we're going to be dealing with is the January effect for equities, right? So all the new funds come in
Hmm.
and it's normally seasonally, normally bullish. That time of year, the market usually rallies with everything being deployed. So I think that's the beginning of January. I don't know how long the January effect is supposed to last. I don't know if
Probably
it's up.
21 days, Dale.
Yeah, right
But
up until inauguration.
Exactly.
yeah, you know what? It's interesting you bring it up because I watch CNBC sometimes, and I think the guy's name is Mike Ho, and he's an options guy. And he was saying that big volatility is being priced into um, the option Jan 31st options are
Mhm.
pricing in big volatility, which is, only that means, things are okay after the inauguration, and then here we go. We'll see. But anyway, there a lot of the traders' money flows into options are worried about the end of January because they're
Yeah.
buying that strike. So yeah. So good morning, Blake.
Good morning.
How are you doing? And what do you think of what I'm seeing today? Am
You
I?
know, I was actually watching. I can't remember what I was. I can't remember what show I was watching, or some YouTube channel, or
Oh, the
no,
alien
some
about the drones and the
no,
plasmoids.
no. You're talking about yields, and there's
Uh,
only one other time that we've seen yields move like this when the Fed actually cut rates, and it was like back in the 80s or something. So it's been it's not
yeah,
common
no,
to see the move down in the bond market. But obviously there's a lot of moving parts, especially as we go into this next year with the Trump administration. How the market feels about where rates are at and deficits, and how the incoming administration is going to tackle all that. So I know there's a lot of
they
moving
want this
parts, but
high.
it
They
what's
want this
that?
high. They want this high, though, don't they, Blake? This top. Even if we get a pullback, don't you think we're going for, the high of the move and the cycle,
Yeah,
which was
yeah,
up here? You know why I think so is that would be a three, right? Here's one, here's two, and maybe we complete above, around 5% or so
right.
next year.
Yeah, Mike
So
said Jim also talked about it on your show. He did, but there was another reference to that I was actually talking about. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been taken to the cleaners trying to be long the bond market, and that would in essence be
yeah,
short the dollar, and the dollar has been extremely strong as of late. And I'll take over the charts from here, I guess.
okay, all
Um,
right,
yeah, but the dollar has been extremely strong since for well, since October. And I mean, it's amazing how bearish the market was at the bottom in the dollar, back in
yeah,
October
at
or
100,
September,
yeah,
October, and how everybody thought that the dollar was going to go to hell in a handbasket. And here we are right now, and we've got the opposite happening. Everybody's bullish yields, think that we're going to 5%. They think the dollar's continuing higher. I for one, see this is Jim Welsh's count, and sees the same count. This is five waves. It's very clear. Now the what we don't know in the dollar
is if
is
we
if we're
finish
going.
five, yeah,
What's that?
if we finished five,
Yeah, I don't know if we finish five, but you can
yeah,
see just with relative strength how
yeah,
divergent it is. So that's your one clue that says maybe the dollar's done here. But I wouldn't be comfortable with shorting the dollar even though I do have some dollar
Where's
shorts
your
on,
line in the sand? Is that it
well, it's
right
right
there?
here. It's
Okay.
107.35 because
Okay.
107.35 is the breakout point here. It's
Okay.
channel support.
There
And
you go.
then if we start breaking through there, then you know you have a false breakout and then the dollar
Yeah.
is ready to roll over. And I don't know if we're quite there yet. I don't know if this is it or we make one more push to the longer term 127% extension, which would actually be from this high back in October of 23 to the lows of this year. That takes us up to, just a
I,
little bit further. So I don't know if
I
we've done
like
it
that.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I think so. I think so. That's all.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with flows. I mean, what might happen over the next few days as we get, I mean, obviously you see the euro is pushing higher today, and the euro's at key resistance right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I tweeted about it with the Forex Analytix Twitter handle, but we're at the 38% retracement, but we also took out a descending trend line. And correct me if I'm wrong, but we had some pretty hot Spanish CPI data come out, didn't we, Kman?
Yeah, it was a bit higher than people expected, and also higher than last time. Spain is about the is the European exception this year. Huh? Spain is doing a lot hotter and in other domains quite better than the big driving engines in Europe right now. So it's perhaps only half a surprise.
Them in
Has it had
Greece.
impacted? It may have a bit of an impact on all those euro crosses. But yeah, we will see. I think we will have to see what happens in the new year, Blake. I wouldn't rule out more euro demand into tomorrow, and then because the market perhaps running short because of those bonds. Because let's not forget, U.S. yields are going up, but the rest of the market, the yields are going up as well because whether it's anticipation of inflationary pressures to come, it's going to be the same for everybody. And yeah, if you look at the the differentials there, we're still holding those levels. We're holding below, which I think is going to be good enough to keep a lid on the euro once we start the new year. But it's not those differentials are not widening more.
Yeah, and I mean this doesn't this what you're seeing here, the European 2 year over the US 2 year. I mean, yeah, maybe we're capped at 105, 105 and a half.
Mm.
But it does suggest that that they're tightening a bit, aren't they?
Yeah, let's see where we end, maybe not even where we end up, but where we start the new year. What happens then? Um, and that's where I think we may see perhaps those interest rate yields widening a little bit. That's what I would perhaps think, and capping the euro once year end is done.
Yeah. Before we go on, we have Steve here, and Stelios was here just a couple of days ago with us, and he said that growth in Greece is one of the standouts. Steve, how are you feeling about growth in your neck of the woods?
Um, it's hello, by the way. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Happy holidays for those that weren't last
Morning,
week with
Steve.
us. Um, Growth in Greece is, I would say, subpar and extremely disappointing. It's easy to show growth when you rebound from one of the biggest economic disasters that we've seen in the Western world in recent history. But the government, in my opinion, has not uh, come even close to doing enough of reforms having to do with modernizing the economy and getting rid of the burdens that keep it down. So, yeah, we do have higher growth than other European countries, but that comes after a huge period of recession and stagnate growth. So that's no big fit, right?
Yeah. I guess, yeah, coming off such a low point, it's like
Yes.
you're
It's easy to
getting,
show what
yeah.
looks like a healthy recession, but I mean, to even catch up with where we should have been if we didn't go through where we were, a lot more reforms are needed.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Steve. Well, good to hear. Good to hear you. I'm gonna come back to you, Steve, in just a bit because right now, Kurt mentioned that the S&Ps or the indices are in trouble. The S&Ps have slid, and they're almost at the 618 retracement. You can see how we're trying to carve out a lower high. One of the big issues that I think that we've had, Dale, is that we had this ascending wedge.
Exactly. That's my chart as well.
Yeah, we had this ascending wedge. We broke down, came
Yeah.
back, challenged the underside of it, couldn't make new highs, and here
I
we are
put
under
some
pressure.
stuff on. I put some stuff on that NVIDIA puts and Google puts. So up there, I was taking a shot for a failing rally.
Oh,
So right
okay. All
now,
right.
it's
So,
kind of looking like it. So we were talking about it again last week. You and I about we went through all the Mag Sevens and what
yep.
great shorts. And I was thinking, I mean, you have to keep an open mind that this could have been just a failing rally. So I figured I'd at least have feelers out there in case that happened because I knew how I'd feel if it broke and I had nothing on. So
So, so
go
here
ahead.
we are. Here we are around the 618. We have remember we've got a couple days left. I personally wouldn't be short. If I was short equities right
You
now,
cover
I'd be
them.
I'd be covering them up right now.
Yeah,
Yep, I would be.
I could see that where we could
Yeah.
hold here and then make another run.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
I
I
would.
see so many options here, um, that you just have to, pick a side and trade it for a while and see what it turns into.
I'll be a
Yeah.
heretic here and say that
It's gonna
I've been
crash,
looking
isn't it?
for at least one more leg lower in equities after we
Yeah.
saw
Okay.
that that sell-off
Yeah.
that we had in the 24th, if I remember right, of December.
Yeah. The size of the snapback is what
So
fooled
personally,
people.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
covering unless we get a lower low. At least that's my thesis here. That we should at least get one more lower low before
Yeah.
we
But
can resume higher, if not worse, right? Because there is, of course,
Yeah.
the worst case scenario of getting a more complex correction to the downside, in which case we might just have seen the first leg,
Of a top.
the first wave of the first leg lower,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Then you get a recovery. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, then we might get a third leg down, a fourth up, a fifth down, then a rebound, then another complex leg lower, and then resuming to the upside.
and I want to kind of toss out technicals here just a little bit, just because we're going to be a product of whatever the flows are coming through the market, and that's the problem of the next couple of days. Kurt was mentioning that the Dow's in trouble. Well, that's because Boeing's down. There was a horrible plane crash in Korea, if I believe, in South Korea, if I my memory serves me correctly, over the weekend, and so Boeing's getting hit pretty hard as a
Boeing
result.
doesn't really need many excuses to be down. I mean, it's
Right, but
The problem
that
with the Dow is they put NVIDIA in the Dow. And I saw a guy say every index they've moved NVIDIA to include in has had a severe correction after they did it.
hmm,
And that
well,
interesting? That's because probably it's so concentrated, it could throw off the averages that way. I don't know.
sure, and like I believe in Nvidia's days are at these levels are numbered.
Yeah, it's
I
down a couple right now, so it's it's at 484. So yeah.
it's right here. You can see the pre-market where it's trading. I do think it's going to be, I do think Nvidia is
Oh, I
coming
like
down.
I'm looking for your 1.618, which makes that recent high up there an irregular B, and a C will be 1.618 of A, which is $80, and that takes it down to your 1.618 target, and then you guys will see me on an island.
Which
Awesome.
one though? That's what we
Which
need to
island?
know.
So
Yeah.
that you don't plan a vacation there? I'm not, huh?
Yeah,
Anyhow,
there's a lot of
Gilligan.
islands in
All
Greece.
right, Gilligan's.
Oh, well, I don't know if they have a Gilligan's Island so much. Hey,
They,
and by the way, Steve, do you guys even have palm trees over there in your neck of the woods?
nah.
Some in Crete that is rather south. Yeah, we do have in Athens some, but they're imported. It's not that they grow naturally, you know what I mean? They can survive. The weather is good enough for them to survive, but not to thrive, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, next time I come see you this year, I'm gonna come bring you a little miniature palm tree that you get to grow. So we'll see if I can get that through immigration.
Johnny Appleseed.
Anyway, so you know, going back to you have an interview today, Dale. You do. Okay. I want to come back to currencies really quick. Talk about the yen. I know, Kman, you talked a little bit about it today. You know, how do you feel about the yen from here? I mean, I was hoping that we would get a little bit of a dip to be able to buy, but it's really hasn't dipped a whole lot.
Oh, what I was saying, I've got really little clue about year-end flows there. It does look like we found a little bit of a resistance there at 158. Yeah, it's one of those. And if you also look at the because the yields are coming back a little bit, so the dollar yen has also come back a bit. The dollar in general, perhaps a little less strong this morning or than prior days. But what I also do think about what Ueda said to be he was very hawkish before the meeting, and then all of a sudden, I don't know whether we got a bit of a finger slap or so by the government not to let the yields raise go too high, might be, but he's gone more cautious, waiting for the next round of wage talks and whatnot. And the issue that I have now is that we are back into a positive yield curve in the dollar, and usually you've got the level of the yields, and then you've got the curve. And you know, I remember what I said that when the curve was negative, usually it's not really supportive for dollar yen. So when it's positive, it is actually usually supportive for dollar yen. So just based on that, I would say that start the new year, we are going to find bids in dollar yen again, and we may go and retest 162. That's what I think. But as I was already mentioning, and in our 2025 year outlook, what happens after the inauguration? Because really, I think we are going to have several legs into next year, and I'm not sure about the dollar as the year progresses, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Waiting.
You know,
Oh.
I was I'm just looking at you know the dollar and trying to get a bigger picture of just the dollar as a whole and you know looking for that dollar peak, but it's going to have to coincide. I think the yen's going to have to be included in that, which normally I don't. Normally I just kind of dismiss the yen and say it's on its own program, but
It has
you know,
been.
yeah, I was
It
just going
has
to say,
been
I'm
on
wondering
its
if
own
the dollar
program.
could actually hit a new high or start to roll over with the yen still moving higher, the dollar yen moving higher is what I'm trying to say.
Bitcoin is only $1,000 away from the breakdown.
From that
That's something.
92,000 level. Yeah.
It's another thing.
It's big support here.
And I think what's Peter Brandt
I think
tweeted that out.
2025 is going to have a lot of disappointments, right? And people that think that
The party will go on forever.
will the economy be better under Trump than it would have been under Harris? In my opinion, probably yes. Will the economy be good, or Trump have some kind of a magic wand, or be willing to make hardcore reforms to ensure a better path forward for the US? I'm afraid not. So there are going to be a lot of disappointments at some point in 2025, and I think one of the biggest ones is going to be cryptocurrencies, because people that believe that Trump will I don't know, make some kind of a sovereign fund with cryptocurrency, etc. In my opinion, there is 0% chance of something like that happening. Zero.
Not with Powell in there.
I think with
Yeah, but they
nobody.
can house it somewhere else. They can house it somewhere else if they want. I mean, that's the power of having that whole new Trump administration. If they want, they could house the Bitcoin somewhere else or the cryptos.
Yeah,
Somewhere
but
if they want to. It's not
I
at the
didn't
back.
mean that the
I
problem is going to be legal.
I
I didn't mean that there's going to be an obstacle from a legal perspective. I mean, there's not going to be any willingness to actually do that because it's.
they could house them at my house.
If you're willing to pay the power bill, they'd be more
Yeah.
than happy to.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
You
Yeah.
forgot about that, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, let's real quick. We didn't talk about this, but man, there's been a big breakout. And we were talking about this in the Forex Analytics chat room. By the way, here's the Forex Analytics chat room. You can see, you know, obviously charts that are being posted from different traders, you know, around here. I know Simon was talking about a few things, and this is something that I brought out a little bit earlier, and Kman was referencing it too. The Euro
Wow.
Swiss is just blowing up to the upside. Now it's stalling now that, you know, North American traders are coming in, but this is a really big breakout. And this is exactly the opposite of what we saw last year at year end. So Kman, what do you make of this big breakout that you're seeing in the Euro Swiss?
Yeah, I was hoping for having a little mini remake of 2023 and
Me
trying to be
too.
patient. But this one, I think the Euro Swiss is really the barometer of the real barometer of Swiss weakness or strength, and it's that just means that Swiss is weak, and perhaps the SNB is succeeding what they want to do, weakening the Swiss franc a little bit. The side
Uh,
deposits came
I
out.
don't know if you would call that success, Cayman. If you remember, we came from a point in time
Oh yeah.
that supposedly for them it was a line in the sand, keeping it above 120,
Ah,
right?
Oh.
And we've now got to the point that they're striving to support the 92-cent area. So I
well,
don't know how much of a success
I
times
mean,
that's
these
going
are
to be.
historic lows. I mean,
times change. Times change. When I mean, let's not forget that at one stage, what Jordan himself said that it was okay to buy Swiss franc. That was the big dump from what was it, 106, 108 euro Swiss down to into the 90s. Yeah, times change. The new one is still though talking about the Swiss corporates and stuff. We don't know how far it can go, but yeah, no, I was just saying that I was hoping for, and no, I was just adding that the Swiss side deposit came out and they came in lower than expected and lower than last time. So it does seem that, in contrast to what we saw the end of last year, that
which is right here.
perhaps those rate cuts are having an effect indeed, and that people don't want to park too much money on into very expensive parking places, which the Swiss franc is.
And you know, I want to add to this, and last year this is what K-Man's talking about, and him and I were we were going pretty balls to the wall getting short Swiss francs. It was this was like my best trade. I want to say it was almost my best trade of the year, but like uh, at the beginning of last year, we just were both K-Man and myself and a bunch of people in the Forex Analytics community were just selling Swiss francs, and you know, saw this big, you know, harmonic pattern develop. I thought we were going to 97, and we actually even surpassed that. But
Nice.
what he's saying is he was hoping we'd see a repeat of this. One of the other things that I have to add to all of this is we do have, you know, Trump coming in, and if there's one thing that I believe Trump is he's not a war president. He would rather, you know, try to make peace, and I don't believe he wants to have you know, he wants to put to bed all of these, you know, different conflicts that we have around the world, whether you're talking Russia, Ukraine, or what's happening in
Or at
China.
least he definitely doesn't want the US to fund them.
No, that's a correct statement. I would say that, and you know, I think that's definitely part of it. And if that's the case, do you need, an excess of Swiss francs in your reserves at this, going into this next year? Again, just like what Steve said, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed as we go into the next administration, and I
I
think
think
there's going
there'll
to be
be
a lot of
a lot more Xanax being consumed over the next
yeah,
4 years.
for our trading
Right?
accounts,
No,
yes.
I mean just everyone's gonna be a little bit on it, have whiplash.
Hey,
Anyway, so
before we pass you along to your
Kim's not here.
interview. Oh,
Kim's
she's
not
not.
here yet.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Well, let me just talk about we do have our annual sale for Forex Analytics. We've never
Yeah.
offered 40% off for our semi-annual subscriptions. Take advantage of that while it's here. We also have buy 1 month get 1 month free. Also for the trader funding program, we've had a lot of people take advantage of this. This goes away actually in 2 days. So in 2 days, you can save up until, and then 2 days from now, you'll be able to save 30% on assessments, reassessments for the trader funding program. So if you're looking to access a larger amount of capital, take advantage of the volatility that's coming this year, this is the way to do it. Click where it says get started just to understand more about the trader funding program if you want to learn more about it. So make sure you check that out. So you don't see Mama Investor Kim, right? You don't see
No,
her here yet?
I don't. But
Okay.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna address another question that came in
Go ahead.
anonymously, but we had
He
a
asked
trader that
for a
was.
friend.
I'm sorry.
He asked for a friend.
He
He had
asked
a
for.
quiz question. Yeah.
No, his question was he was asking about the U.S. dollar
Ugh.
CNH in 2025. Kman, how do you feel about the Yuan going into this next year?
Could be an extremely important year for the Chinese yuan, and obviously it all depends on how big those tariffs will be on one hand, because that could be already the first surprise of the year, because Trump invited Xi to the inauguration, right? And I can't believe that somebody is going to slap 75% tariffs on a country of which he invites the president. So there could be already the first surprise of the year coming. And then it'll depend on what the investors want to do, because right now there's been a big flight of capital out of China,
Yeah.
and so there's going to be a few things to watch there. So first of all, it's how big the tariffs, and deriving from that, if they are massive, we could have a very big surprise as well, coming out between Europe and China, because they could go in ship together instead of China with the US in some ways.
Yeah, I think that's
That
going to
is,
happen.
well, I mean,
What's their choice?
there's a risk. There's a risk there. Yeah, well, they will always prefer the United States because it's a
Of
how shall I say?
course.
It's a bigger partner in short term stuff. If you want to have somebody who takes a lot from you straight away, the US is probably still going to be the better partner. But yeah,
Yeah,
that
not to
one is a,
mention the cultural part, right? A lot more common values between the US and Europe, etc.
yeah,
And
the US
not,
and Europe. But the problem
and
is if
they're also military partners, which is also very important, right?
that is very important indeed. So there's never going to be Europe shutting the door on the US. That's not going to happen. But no, it's in trading,
So let me ask you this, Kman. I hear a lot of talk about the Chinese could just let the yuan go. I think I heard it from Adam. I've heard it, I've read it in other
mm,
sources. When people talk about letting the yuan go, they're talking about eight, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll
so
see. We'll see what
if
the
we break
PBOC.
out there,
Yeah,
it's
we'll
going
see
to
what
be,
the PBOC does, because I mean, there's every reason for it to go, because they've been injecting money, they've been slashing rates, they've been pumping a lot of cash into whatever real estate and everything. But let's see how they behave on the FX front, because for now, up to now, they have not shown the willingness to really let it go. So, and they are going to be the ultimate deciders to know whether they let their currency go or not. It's well, I don't know yet, but I think there's a fair chance they do if Trump slaps 40, 50, 60% tariffs on everything, then they probably will let the
Yeah.
yuan go. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right. Well, interesting. And thank you for your thoughts there. Before we go, and Dale, I'm just making an assumption. Kim's probably totally forgot, and it's
Yeah.
Monday, and it's a
Yeah.
holiday week, and
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
that's
assuming. Yeah.
yeah. Well, since we got Steve here, Steve, your thoughts going into 2025. I know, and by the way, if you want our blog post on our 2025 outlook. Steve, I don't think you participated in this. So what are your thoughts? And then you can read through like Ryan's thoughts, my thoughts, and a lot of us here. But Steve, what are your thoughts going into this next year and some of
I
the
think the
big
next year
themes?
is going to be interesting and volatile.
Yeah.
I think, I've been saying for months, I think that the market might keep going. Uh, it might be pushing, might keep pushing the dollar higher, and perhaps equities higher as well. Although in the very short term, as I explained, I do believe that equities will move lower, right? But this is likely a very temporary correction. So I think there is a good likelihood that we're not done producing higher highs in indices. Just temporarily, we're seeing some kind of a correction, which is, overdue,
How
obviously.
about S&P's back down to 4,900 and then new highs?
I think that if we make the damage you're describing, it's going to be a big issue, and we're not going to be seeing new highs as fast. I think
Okay.
that if this is a temporary correction, I would ideally not want to see the S&P below 5680,
Okay.
right? Ideally. So I would be looking for much, much closer
Okay.
levels, because
Yeah.
if we start breaking through these type of levels, then there is a very, very good chance that we're not going to be seeing new highs for quite some time. I mean,
Okay.
indices will keep producing indefinitely new highs given time for one very basic reason, and that reason is inflation, right? I mean, as
I mean, what's
exactly
the
as
excuse? What's the excuse for S&P's being down 75 handles today? Any news?
Um,
No, or you'd have it. We'd all be
yeah.
talking about it.
I
That's
think
bearish.
it's I think
That's
it's
bearish.
mostly I think it's mostly technical, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
think it's mostly technical and mostly reactionary, because I believe that the 3-day big rebound that we saw last week
yeah.
didn't really have legs. I mean, it didn't have any real support. It was in illiquid
Yeah. Well,
um,
it was over
trading.
78%. Well,
Yes.
anyway,
So
so
in essence, I think the rebound higher was an overreaction during
yeah.
illiquid
Yeah.
days and times.
Okay. All right. Well, Kman's been talking about parking, where to park this and where to park that. And I thought I'd tell a story about a guy who was trying to find a parking place for a playoff game. And he can't find a parking place, and he's going, "Oh God, please help me find a parking place. I won't swear anymore. I'll be honest. I'll give to charity. I'll do whatever it takes. Please help me find a parking place." And then he sees one over there to the left, and he says, "Never mind. I've got this."
Mhm.
That's funny.
Anyway, if you're ever praying for a parking place, don't forget to thank the guy that got it for you. Anyway, Happy New Year, team.
Happy New Year to you, Dale.
Here
And
to you, Dale.
Are we broadcasting tomorrow?
I was going to
Steve?
ask you, boss, but are we?
Steve, I can't remember if we said we're broadcasting Face tomorrow or not. Maybe you can check on your end.
Yeah, based on what you told me, because I have the schedule in front of me,
Yes.
no, we're not.
Okay. All right.
Our next webinars are going to be January 2nd.
Okay, so guys, this is it for us, and we do have we have the morning edge coming
Yes.
up in a little bit.
Yeah.
That's for the Forex Analytics traders. So if you guys are in the Forex Analytics community, we will build out what we always do and have for the last well, I've done it for the last 20 years with everybody. Is we're going to build out the bias chart, and talk about why some of these levels are still big, and reformat this for today. And then we won't see you until after the new year. So I want to say, let's see you in 2025.
Yes, we resume
2025.
webinars. What is it? Thursday the 2nd. Yes.
Thursday, yes, Thursday the 2nd, and we'll be back. And then the Flow show starts broadcasting the 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
Monday the 6th.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
Kurt.
so
2025 is going to be epic.
2025 will be
it really
epic.
is, and you're really
It
going
is
to
going
need.
to be.
You're going to need really a
Diapers.
community. You're going well, besides diapers, a community to tell you which ones to buy. Okay, so don't do this alone, especially if you've been trading less than 4 years, and if you've been trading longer than 4 years, come on in and give someone lift somebody up, and teach them a few things of what you've learned. And thought I'd end it with, I wrote a trader's prayer. Lord, strengthen me now as I face the new year. Build my conviction and vanquish the fear. Keep my mind clear, my thought process brisk, to challenge the markets after measuring the risk. Amen.
Amen. That's great.
All right, so
Dale,
that's it.
I know you want to end it here. I just want to mention really fast, we have so much in store this next year for all of you. Every single one of you that are listening in right now are going to be able to participate more in the Forex Analytics family. We've got a lot of new technology that's coming your way. We have actually new team members that are going to be joining us this next year. To stay up to breast on everything that we're doing, if you go right to our website and you go right to the very bottom here, it says subscribe to our weekly newsletter, just to make sure you're up to speed with everything that we're doing. Read our weekly newsletter. Just put in your full name and your email address here. Like I said, we have so much coming your way this year. It's going to be pretty mind-blowing for most of you. And I can't wait to share it all with you as we're into the first and second quarter of next year. So stick around, and we have a lot of exciting stuff for everybody listening in, everybody. So.
Okay, so tell me that's not inclusive. So happy New Year, everyone. Dream team, looking forward to, living through and trading through a new regime.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Steve, to everyone's families. And let's kick some ass in 25.
May 2025 bring you everything you wish for.
All right, there you go. On every level.
Can't say it any better than that.
Yeah. All right. Well, Blake, Steve, Kman,
Thank you,
everyone else out there.
Thank you, guys.
Happy New Year. Have a good time. Don't let the ball drop on you if you're in Times Square. Be careful, and have a great time, and don't drive. All right.
That's right. Take an Uber.
Yeah, take an Uber. It's cheaper than an attorney.
Yeah. I can drive you if you want. I don't drink.
Oh, there you go. You know what? That's it. I'm moving to Greece.
If you've ever driven with Steve, you might.
Oh yeah.
You might actually second guess that. Which I have.
No, well,
but not for reasons of intoxication.
Well, he lets his passengers have to drink to cope with his driving. Anyway, yes, I've heard about Speed Racer. So anyway, guys, Happy New Year. Love every one of you.